سلام به همگی. اسم من سانازه. من یه چیز میگم ولی من میگم باره انگلیسی. فارسی من خیلی خوب نیست، ببخشید. خب of course I want to say much thanks to the people that have created the We Are Everywhere community page. I think this is a fantastic effort, a wonderful effort, and a much needed effort. And so I want to thank the people that have done this, because I think this is it's a great space for us to dialogue with one another, and I think that's a wonderful thing. I am not gay myself. I'm queer friendly, queer positive, straight, not narrow. And I want to just say that because I like saying that term, straight, not narrow. Anyway, what I do want to mention, and something that I have seen in the past and what I am looking at myself, is this whole issue of satire. And a few months ago I found on a few Facebook pages and on YouTube that pointed me to YouTube, of this Iranian Swedish guy who did this parody of him and his Swedish male flatmate, who decided to punk his mother by saying that they're a gay couple. And so they go to his mother's home, and they sit down, and they're on a couch and in the living room setting, and they say off bat, we're gay, we sleep with each other. And the mother is just shocked, and her reaction is completely fantastic. And she has no idea that she's being, it's like a candid camera moment. And so she begins to shout, and I think she takes off her shoe, and she begins to hit her son, and all of this is happening. And while I was watching it, and I'm thinking, okay, it's supposed to be a parody, but inwardly I'm cringing, because I'm thinking, my goodness, how many Iranian children, Iranian diasporic children, Iranian children living in Iran who are queer, have gone through similar episodes. Not to that extent, but something, maybe perhaps a bit similar. And I think, well, how can we laugh at that as a community? I think we need to have an open arms for these people, for creating a dialogue. And that's something that's, sadly in the Iranian diaspora isn't there. We don't have a dialogue, an honest dialogue about, being queer of course, in the diaspora or in Iran, which is starting, but it's not to a level where I think it should be. And we still have a lot of homophobia, and I'm speaking from a diasporic standpoint. And it's disgusting, but we need to have more dialogue to find ways to countering this homophobia. And of course, the homophobia that we have in our community is twofold, because you think about the community homophobia that's there among many Iranian parents, and of course the homophobia that's outside among the mainstream, living in the diaspora and the mainstream communities out there. And then of course you think about a lot of these Iranian diasporic youths who are second and emerging third generation. You're having to figure out your ethnic identity, where you stand, your background. At the same time, you're having to figure out your sexuality, and that's pretty daunting by itself. So imagine the two things together, and it's just I think we need to create more initiatives, not just for Iranians inside Iran, which of course are there and need to be there, and we need to help our queer Iranian brothers and sisters inside the country, but also among the diaspora. And I'm not talking just about queer refugees, although we need to help them out as well, and we need to give them that help, but also among the diaspora, which I think sort of gets tucked away, like, oh well, they can fend for themselves, they know the language, they've got everything going for them, so they don't need that help. But I think we need to find an inclusive environment where all queer Iranians, whether they be in the diaspora or in Iran, have help and have community support centers or something where we in the community can help and create a positive environment, and let them know that there are people in the community that are not closed-minded, that they can talk about being queer, and there's no shame in being Iranian and queer. We need to create that type of environment, and if we don't, I think I just wonder what's out there for them, because I imagine it's a very daunting experience, and to do it alone, to go about it alone, would be very difficult. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say for now because I could probably ramble for a long time on this subject. Thank you very much for hearing me, and thank you for all the responses that people have put on the page. It's made me think a lot. خب دیگه مرسی. خدا